I want to know if everyone else is as rubbish as I am at waking up in the morning. So today I'm interviewing John Robertson about his morning routine as well as his expertise in Star Trek The Next Generation. WUWAH. Good morning. I hope you slept well. This is a gentle morning podcast called WUWAH. I can't say the name or my own name really within the first minute of the show because the algorithm doesn't like swear words. So I'll use this time to motivate you into your day. I hope you're up. I hope you're out of bed. I hope you've gone outside. I hope you've had some breakfast and some variety of fiber. I hope you've thought about Tekken. I hope you've had some fruit and hope you've realized that today will be at very least precisely fine. On this show, I like to ask creative people about their morning routines to see if they're coping as badly as I am. I also like to ask them about their expertise. Today, I am interviewing John Robertson, who is a friend, comedian, improviser, author, Twitch streamer. He also has his own live action video game called The Dark Room, which is an amazing show. I've guested on it a few times in Edinburgh. It's a lot of fun. You should definitely go see that. And he's also an expert in Star Trek The Next Generation. Turns out if you ask two people who, I mean, he hasn't been diagnosed with ADHD, but we'll see. Ask two people who are neurodivergent who both like Star Trek, get talking about Star Trek. It goes on for quite long. This is probably the longest episode we've done. John does touch upon a few darker subjects that I don't really cover in this podcast usually, but it's connected to the conversation. He is a wonderful man. If you know his vibe already, then it's just John being wonderful John. And if you don't know him, you'll pick up on his vibe pretty quickly. He is a wonderful man. I hope you enjoy this episode. My name is David Hoare, and welcome to Waking Up with a Hoare. Oh, also, I'm releasing my first YouTube special on the 14th of December, Sunday the 14th of December. It's called 1000% Musical Comedy. I'm releasing it on YouTube at 5 p.m. on Sunday the 14th of December. So check it out.
Waking up with a Hoare. Waking up with a Hoare. Waking up with a Hoare.
Yes. Sorry.
That's all right. So moist in my ear.
I'm so sorry.
No, it was fine. A good wet Hoare. Delightful. Good.
I'm sort of still, even though I've had my mustache for a while now, getting used to the fact that water droplets sort of like stay there. Sometimes if I've had some squash, I'm like, ooh, orange, okay.
No, it's true. Like when I had my big beard and I was sort of suffused with fragrant oils, it really didn't matter how much I, smelt like I'd been in a delightful Turkish bath because I could get my tongue out and just go, oh, cheese, delicious, delicious cheese.
Like an actual twit. That's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Straight up. Yeah. Which was the first Roald Dahl book I ever read. Which was
really?
Yeah. Well, why not start by immediately reading, one that's just about atrocities committed by two abusers, rather than some prick with his medicine that's allegedly a bit good, or some sort of peach of above average size.
I do think that my sister had all of the Roald Dahl books, and I would pick them up occasionally, but the Twits was the one I was scared of the most. I would pick up the one and open up and look at the bit with it's all the food in his beard and be like, that's kind of good, but the rest of it kind of scared me. And
well, it's the most plausible, like because you know two jerks, so it's fine. You look until such a time as you do get a golden ticket to go and see an eccentric chocolatiers, factory, you have nothing to fear. Especially if you've only ever lived in grinding poverty and have no discernible, moral problems, or are German and a bit big. Apparently that was wrong.
I hadn't actually, you're right. I was scared of it. I thought I was scared of it because the imagery was kind of scary, but you can't have a peach that big. Foxes aren't stealing from humans in such an organized way.
That's right.
Little girls in school don't have magical powers, as far as I'm aware. I don't think a giraffe, a pelican, and a monkey can be friends.
No, I don't think they can. I think it's against God's law.
But I do think that two twits can be assholes.
Yeah. Well, hence the name. That was the original title.
Wow, you
idiot. It was two twits can be assholes. It was censored around the same time that they changed the name of Agatha Christie's 10 Little Indians, which is already a thing that, probably needs a bit of change anyway.
There was a previous name, and now it's called like
Oh, it's on draft 3, I think.
It's
They,
called something. It's something equivalent of like "Now You Will See Me" or something.
yeah, that's probably better than 10 Little Slurs, really.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, good old Agatha Christie. Well, I'll tell you what, though. I mean, Agatha Christie, at least she wasn't such a sort of out and out bigot as that fuckhead Enid Blyton. No, my God. The famous 5 have just encountered, well, that man might be Jewish. And apparently that's a problem.
Uh,
Oh,
So what I haven't done is
Yeah.
every other one of these podcasts, I've started off by saying that my first guest was a comedian called Sanjay Arif, and he said you should remind your guests that people are listening to this in the morning. So just for it's like a gentle waking up thing, and I haven't done that with you. And now we've
Yeah.
discussed how racist all of them.
well, I mean,
Which, you know,
no, but look, I mean, I've been woken up, you know, in bed by a number of, you know, just lovely general questions about all manner of subjects. And what other way to start the day, you know? Then
Sure.
you say you know, say you're in bed and you wake up, right? You wake up and you turn to the face of a loved one, and that one turns to you and goes, you know, I think I was probably turned on to S&M by the head witch in The Witches, because in the original illustration in Quentin Blake, she does look quite hot, to be fair. And then, I mean, my God, the woman who plays her in the film, she's the one who did Morticia in Addams Family. Oh, yes, yes. And yet at the same time, I don't want to be put in a painting. I still find that uncomfortable.
I will say, Angelica Houston, The Witches is possibly still the scariest film I've ever seen. That
Oh, yeah.
film traumatized me as a child.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's so bloody upsetting. Yeah. in every way, but also like, I mean, Angelica Houston and Jack Nicholson were partners for a very, very long time. And so every time I think of sort of tall, black-haired, stately, impressive, talented Angelica Houston, I'm like, yes, but what if a short, characterful piece of shit? Hey? I got eyebrows and teeth. You want that? I got some emotional range. Yeah, why not?
Right. John Robertson, are you a morning person?
No, my God, that's why we had to record this in the afternoon.
Hooray!
Yeah, fuck no. Good God.
Fair.
No, I don't look, let's put it this way. I get erect in the morning, but I don't get out of bed.
You're up in some ways, but not.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I can tell. I can tell usually when a morning boner has happened, because my dreams get better and I have slightly more control over them. It's quite good.
Are you a lucid dreamer?
I am a lucid dreamer when I'm about to become a liquid dreamer. Yes.
Oh
No. I mean, I've never once had a wet dream in my life, but I have woken up and discovered that my cock was punching me in the stomach, which is quite the. It's a good way to wake up.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, like the fact that it's currently. Well, yeah, exactly. The fact that it's currently level with the belly button, like a sandworm trying to return home, is quite the thing. I don't know if it means more stomach or if I'm somehow getting more blood flow downstairs, but good God, either way.
Are you having dreams in the Dune universe?
Preferably not, since if you do have a dream in the Dune universe, it tends to be incredibly boring. Oh, he's really made a good point about mechanicalism. That's amazing. Look, everybody, magic sand. No. Weirdly, when it happens, none of my dreams are ever sexual. At that point, it's like I literally have a joystick, and I've been granted more conscious control. But there's very rarely anything going on that's salacious or good.
Fair.
Well, fair. Indeed. Yeah.
Are you good at getting out of bed?
Oh, I mean, it depends on the purpose of getting out of bed. Like, you know, like if there's a gig or something interesting to do, I'm exemplary at getting out of bed. But also, like, a lot of days, if I've just done a tour show, as I have recently, or I've been out or whatever, I get home at about 3 a.m. or a bit later. So I don't really get out of bed again for a small infinity of time. The only time I get up is I tend to wake up each day at about 6 a.m. because I'm ravenously hungry at that time. And at the moment, I get up, I eat porridge, and I go, what a fantastic start to the day. And I go back to bed for another 4 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Another 4 hours.
Yeah. It's not good for you, but it's also in many ways excellent. I mean, I very rarely know what day of the week it is. Like the other day,
Sure.
I was lying in bed. I'd come in incredibly late. We'd done some shows, and I'd come back, and I was lying down, and I could hear the neighbor's child singing, and she's taking singing lessons, and she's getting very good, right? Very good, but also keeningly loud and straight through the fucking wall. And I was lying there, and I could hear her, reaching like a pirate for the high sea. And as I'm just there, right, I was there like, my God, it must be a school holiday. She must be off sick or something. Good God. And it's like, no, it's Sunday. It's Sunday. That's the child is at home, and this is a normal thing, for someone to be doing. It is a Sunday. It is 11 a.m. on a Sunday morning, and what could be nicer in the world than a child singing at that hour? Where I'm over here going, I am the one at fault with all of my curtains.
Yeah. It's quite weird for some people. I don't always want to peel back the curtain too much to people who aren't comedians on what the lifestyle truly is sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Of both the highs and the lows of it. But especially when you're booking a gig where students might be there, and then one day there's just nobody there, and you're like, did we offend anyone? It's like, no, it's reading week. Or as you say, it's like it's half term. Or it's it's just a Sunday, and they're like, no. Other people existing in routine that we just aren't aware of, really.
No, absolutely. I mean, I've never quite forgiven the promoter who was put on a gig. I think this gig is now a different gig, because they're right. There used to be a gig that prided itself on being right next to the Royal Albert Hall, and now there's another one that does that, but it's a different gig. Right. I've done both, but this was the first one. It was at a uni, and they didn't just want me. They wanted me to bring down my show, The Dark Room, which doesn't really do clubs. Like, it's not that it can't, but it doesn't do clubs just because it's on tour, right? But it's like, okay. And so I get all this shit together. And this was back when I had to bring the projector and all of this stuff. So I'm like wheeling all this shit down, and we get there. So first up, I see the Royal Albert Hall. Then I have to turn left, which is a tremendous blow to the ego. Honestly, you lug your suitcase up a million billion fucking stairs. You're at a uni. So you're like, oh, that's good though. We're going to have a nice gung-ho, interesting crowd. We'll have a good time. You walk into the room and you realize that crowd is such a fragile concept, because what there was, and I've never forgotten this, there were 6 people there, 2 of whom buggered off as soon as they realized that John Robertson is not John Richardson. And as I sort of indicated that perhaps 4 people would be enough to maybe get about 20 minutes out of this, I went, look, what has happened? And the promoters went, oh, well, thing is, normally the audience here is the Comedy Society, but one of them's doing open mic at the 99 Club, so they all went to that. See, they're going, yes, bested by a local open micer on this day. Ah, yes. As we all will be at one point or another, but good God.
Yes.
No, usually that's just at the gig where they go on before you and they know all the local references and they just fucking smash it at the fuck apart, right?
Yeah.
That happens. I used to do that to visiting headliners. Everyone loved that trick, or more to the point I did, and then they didn't use me again. I never learned, right? But I'd never been beaten on a completely administrative level. Not only do we not want to see you, we're actually in a different venue at a different part of London, waiting all night for someone to do 5 minutes. We have scheduled this, and we would rather do that.
I did a gig recently where a newer comic brought a bunch of friends, and that was most of the audience. And every time I did a joke, they would look at their friend who was going to be doing comedy after me to be like, what do you think about that one? Before they would kind of assess it themselves. That's fucked. It was really weird.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's that. Well, yeah. Whoever that is, they must be new to stand up, and their friends must be new to it as well.
Yeah, I think they might have not gone to a bunch of it, and they're kind of like, well, I think they know more about comedy than I do. So how's that land? Yeah,
Yeah. They're also probably think on some level it's a competition. So they're thinking, oh,
yes,
you know,
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
mean
yeah.
literally a competition. They're like, oh, hang on, oh, well, our guy's on next. Oh, I don't know about that. You know,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
it's Steve. Yeah, yeah. My apologies to all of the Steves who don't do that. It's a perfectly good generic name, said John. Anyway.
But all the Steves that do that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, bloody Rent a Crowd Steve. I fucking hate Rent a Crowd Steve. Hate that guy. Yeah. I hate that guy and all of his dickhead friends and Roy. Yeah,
all of them.
God, sometimes they just
Comedy
look in the
Society.
direction. Yeah, sometimes they just look in the direction they think he's in. Sometimes there I am on stage and they're just staring out the window at where they think the 99 Club is, and it's in a different city. So Steve's out there. Steve will be there somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Look, I mean, I once got an entire lineup, this is in Perth, Western Australia, an entire lineup. And you know what? Honestly, we all deserved what happened to us. An entire lineup was bested by an amateur British comic. I've never forgotten, never forgotten, and nor should I. There were instructive lessons learnt that evening. It was the guy who booked it, I think, is still a little salty about this. We lost him a lot of money. It was let's just put it this way, rather than identifying the sport, it was one of those rich sports, right? One of those rich sports, and they had a social club. And in the clubhouse, they thought, what a lark, we'll have the comedy on. And I realize now they must have paid the promoter at least a small fortune, because there were about 6 of us, right? And we were all getting paid. We had a headliner who'd come in from Melbourne, not specifically for that. He was doing a run. I was emceeing. And in the middle, there was this, I realize now he was just a middle-aged guy, but to us, he seemed an infinity of age right at the time. Okay. And I came out and I'm emceeing. And at the time, I didn't do crowd work because I'd been told that was bad. So I'm pretty much talking to a fourth wall, and I'm talking about things that like 20-something nerds in Western Australia enjoy. And I haven't yet realized that the audience is entirely northern expats. They're northern English expats, right? I held on to this for ages. I genuinely was like, oh my God, every northern audience must be like this. And then you find out, no, they're the most giving audience in the world, right? But yeah, these just all, well, you know, these are all like former plumbers and fitters and turners who'd saved up and, you know, waited for our dollar to go down and then bought mansions back when you could still do that, right?
Wow.
And we're living a high life. And so they're all sort of looking, I don't know what the boy's saying. Hey, what's going on? Right. So this happens. I bring out a guy. The first act was a bloke who used to routinely beat me in competitions. And so I was already a bit annoyed that I was bringing him on, honestly. And he came. Also, if anyone from Perth from this time is listening to this, that's about a dozen of them. Like, so there'll be like 12 people going, we all used to beat you. What are you talking about? What? Anyway, so this guy comes out. He does all right for a while. He used to do impressions, and he does okay for a bit. The next guy who comes out does sound effects and weird clowning. This goes nowhere. This dies so fucking hard. Right?
Like Michael Winslow.
Yes. Yeah. Michael Winslow, but with a more of an arty bent.
Okay.
Yeah. So rather than it being like, hey, you know, guys, when you, it's more like, I'm in space, and in space, right? So this goes on. He used to have a really good bit where he was being the characters from Mortal Kombat, and he got these, you know, again, these are moneyed up former laborers who are now the managers of firms, and their wives going, well, I don't know what this is. Oh dear. Right. There's now an interval. In the interval, I go to the toilet and I'm delighted to hear I'm not being complained about. It's like, oh, it's not been a bloody good night so far. Oh, I didn't like that fucking spaceman. There was the fucking spaceman. I came out, I was like, no, they literally mean the sound effects guy. It's not you. Anyway, what then happens is after the interval, we bring on, he's a member of the local club. He's a member of the club, right? He's never really done stand-up as far as we know. Okay. Up he gets, and this cunt smashes the gig. 20 has he written any of those jokes? Not one. Not a one of them, right? From the Christmas cracker, from the internet, from Ricky Gervais. Here's a Roy Chubby Brown bit. Here's a bit of that. The only joke I've remembered working, and I was so disgusted by this man, because it was just hack shit, was just him going, my wife, she told me kiss her somewhere dirty, so I took her to Battersea Power Station. And, no nod and a wink. This is all done like it's the finest thing. Not only did they lose their fucking minds, right? It was fantastic. To be fair, they'd gotten what they wanted, which was some comedy. They'd gotten what the thing they paid to see was what they think comedy is, and these were some jokes that they could relate to and understand, right? Or even just some funny statements they could relate to and understand, or more to the point, just anything that fucking engaged them. But he spoke the language. He was from there, worked out great. Bam, 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 bam. We brought the headliner out. The headliner, who isn't really in the business anymore, he had become enraged at what he saw as being the audience hanging us all out to dry. He thought, on some level, that if every comedian who's been on bar one, right, is performing badly to an attentive audience, then surely it must be the audience's fault. Right? So he went out. He went out and he just began, he just started roasting them, but with no joys. And they're all old, so they're going, and it's just a lot of, what have you guys been watching? Midsummer Murders, and if there's any joy, but nothing. He ends up doing 7 minutes, right, out of 20. No, it would have been 30. Off he gets, right. I have to come back on stage. Now, bearing in mind, I've turned to the opening act and I've just gone, start the car. Go and start the car. And he's gone outside to start the car. Okay. Like, I get up. And as I go, hey, everyone, well, what a great night we've had. This is when you know it's gone wrong. I start listing off the acts that have been on. The audience begins chanting for the old English guy. Wow. And that's it. They're just, and no applause for us. They just chanted his name like he'd won the World Cup for them.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
And that was it. And I eventually had to go, yeah, you know what? Just give it up for that guy. There's the only way to leave the stage to applause. We physically ran out of the venue, taking only the time. Two of us got our dicks out and pissed on the side of the venue just to show, it was the only way we could reclaim any degree of dignity. And we just bolted. And you want to talk about waking up? I woke up the next morning to a phone call, which was the promoter going, what the fuck happened?
You're like, well, they've got a new favorite comedian.
Well, that was it. Yeah, it's like, as it turned out, to perform for a bunch of northern people, with a median age of 60, you might have wanted to send some people who had heard perhaps of the north of England. Oh
dear,
I had read. Yep.
I've got the image in my head of a guy. When I first started doing the Edinburgh Fringe, when I was still just doing like mixed bills and everything, and like I had like a two-hander where we have a guest in the middle. I did like a show. I got you're running around doing spots, and like at 3 p.m. I did a mixed bill and smashed it, and was walking away being like, I'm doing comedy in Edinburgh. And by 6 p.m. I sat there with my head in my hands because this guy in a red coat who must have been 60 or something just sat there like this whilst I did pretty much exactly the same material, and him just like staring through my soul, being like, why did I even come into this building?
Yeah.
And it's just you learn so many lessons in that moment. But yeah, it was such a like, oh my god, Jake, comedy in Edinburgh, I should probably go home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, every day at the Edinburgh Fringe. Like the worst thing you can do, or at least the worst thing I can do, is, well, I mean, I actually know, I know what the worst thing I can do. The worst gig I ever did at the Edinburgh Fringe is I'd done my 2 shows for the day. So, and they'd gone very well. So I performed to an audience that likes me and is aware that I'm joking, right? And so fairly full of myself. I'd then gone off to a comedian's drinks, gotten fairly loaded up. It was a highly stressful drinks. There were several people there who don't make me particularly comfortable, and I was not having a great time. I then had to go off and do a gig, and so in a headspace somewhere between vanity, tension, and the sheer amount of whiskey that I had drunk, I remember. So it was a show where it's there's a jam band on stage, right? And they will play while you are doing stand-up, right? And a really good and interesting clown comic had gotten up, and he had done Frank Sinatra, right?
Wow.
And he, and it was great. It was just, and I thought, okay, well, that sort of emotional territory's been covered. And then they've got a bit, these guys, where they've got a baseball bat and like a box full of complaints, and they get people to hit the box with the bat, right? But it's never, the box is never really destroyed. It's never particularly impactful. And so me sort of there, like, I'm like, well, like, oh, there's a large amount of nerves going through me, right? I went, okay, well, if we've just had Frank Sinatra, now we should have punk. So I've just ripped off my shirt and run on stage and taken the bat and just started improvising punk songs while swinging the bat wildly. And there were vacant chairs, and I'm aiming for the vacant chairs, and I'm just striking these vacant chairs and singing about, and all of this. And as I see your face there, David, I don't think you're perceiving the nuance, mate, of what I'm doing.
I'm perceiving the idea that I've been in dark rooms in Edinburgh and didn't realize that somebody was sitting in a chair. And you're swinging a bat.
this show was perhaps not affected by the existence of it. Okay, so that was fine. However, I did later discover, from what I realized later, was when I looked into the faces of some friends of mine who were also about to be on, and I realized that their facial expressions were one of they were appalled is what had happened. And the next day I got a fairly nice message, which was them going, John, you are aware that you attacked the audience with a bat, aren't you? And I was like, oh, well, you see, I was actually aiming and I realized, yes, the overall impression will have been of a drunk, angry man with a shirt off, swinging a bat, and no one really gives a fuck that he's improvising poetry while he's doing that. I see. Right. Yes.
No one's finding the nuance.
Well, that was it. Possibly no nuance detected because no nuance present. The power of the bat greatly outweighs the power of the iambic pentameter. So yes, so yes, that led to a quite. I'm still friends with the person who runs that. Both of them. I rang the guy whose show it was, and I went, look, I'm terribly sorry. I understand I've really embarrassed myself here. So you just let me know the moment of your choosing, and I'll come do you a free gig if you would like. And he thought it was great. He was like, no, that was great. That was great. However, the venue were a lot more like, yes, please, John, the bat, John. Please don't ever, John the Bat. And yes, and I said, I apologized. And I remember the exact words being, thank you very much for your gentle response. And when it was gentle response, I was like, oh, I see. Okay. My character work must have been a bit compelling that evening. Oh
my God.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Oh, well, it was fine. It did mean that the next time I did that show, when I came on stage, apropos of nothing, members of the band started going, hide the bat!
You've got a catchphrase. That's great.
Well, it was great. Hide the bat. And I'm there like, the audience don't fucking know about that. Don't do that. Now you've told me the bat's here and I kind of want the bat.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Imagine saying that at a Slipknot gig.
Yeah, I should have brought my own.
Yeah.
Well, I'm terribly sorry. I'm going to use a phrase I never use. I didn't get that, David. I didn't understand.
You know, the band Slipknot have like the band members that are playing actual instruments, and then they've got like a clown and a guy in a gas mask doing like, and a guy with a long nose, and they've got drums, but some of their drums are literally beer kegs.
Really?
And then so they've got one of their songs is like dun 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 cat dun dun dun, but the cat is done where the clown guy has a baseball bat that's on fire and he's smashing this beer keg.
Oh, that's awesome!
And like he'll do a couple of them, and then he'll hand it over to the lead singer to then do it as well.
Oh, that's
yeah.
So sometimes live music really deserves the audience it sometimes gets, you know, like, whenever somebody goes, oh, comedy is the new rock and roll, and it absolutely isn't and never will be, right? Moments like this are why.
Yeah.
You know, because that must look artful, it's interesting, it's transparently dangerous, but it's being done in a safe way, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not doing that. I mean, no. You know, you try to bring fire into a venue, the amount of shit you have to fill out. My God.
Well,
yeah.
Rammstein as well. Like they're all legally like very well trained and powerful, and also their stage they have to build themselves. It isn't like a flat floor. It's all got holes in it because everything drains down.
Yeah. Oh, incredible. Yeah, this is the thing that you know, if you're going to go and do 20 minutes and then a man's going to come out and do a bunch of Beano one-liners, you know,
with a guitar.
Hey. Oh, David, those are good. No, you're excellent. No, really good. Yeah, God. Yes, anyway, there we go. Oh.
Right. So far, I've asked you 2 questions about your morning. So the third question
this pretty much goes to show what the morning's like at my house. Yeah, this is about right.
Do you have an alarm system?
No, I have an alarm system if there's something that needs to get done. But the alarm system is usually daylight poking into the cavity that is this place, this great throbbing darkened orifice of a flat of mine.
Oh, so every day you're awake to find yourself in a dark room?
Preferably, yeah. Well, with an unacceptable amount of light bleed, but I don't wish to. I don't wish to get into my info dumping about the state of the curtains, because anyone who really knows me has heard this monologue. Yes, John, hang them an inch higher. Yes, all right. Yeah, good-o. Yes, okay. You're going to do it? No, it's satisfying to talk about. Also, yeah. Also, when I got this place, the previous owner left a stack of glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling of what's my room, which is fucking great. But I think the little bit of gap that we have is what's fueling them. You know, so I'm like, well, I don't want to turn the stars off. Who gives a fuck that at 6:30 in the morning a beam of light hits me straight in the fucking face? That's great. God wants you. He calls you. Go eat the porridge.
The neon colors.
Yeah, exactly. Eat the porridge and go to bed. Yeah.
What is your alarm system if you do need to wake up for something?
Oh, just my phone.
Yeah. And is it like one alarm and you're up, or are you like multiple alarms?
Oh, there's multiple alarms, but they tend to be for when I've been completely exhausted and fallen asleep in the middle of the day. So like every time I try to set an alarm, I discover that there's already 3 alarms set for 7 p.m. You know, that happens all the time. But no, I just set it on the phone and then have the phone somewhere in the house, but not in the bed. Because if it's in the bed, I have woken up and turned it off and gone back to bed. But if it's somewhere else in the house, I have to go get it. Yeah.
I'm always quite impressed with my subconscious's ability to wake up, turn off alarms in multiple rooms.
Oh, yeah?
And then get back into bed. Yeah. And then be like, I swear, I've got like my tablet and my phone in my bedroom with alarms. And then I've got a separate alarm in here to get me to get out of bed, because I'm so bad at getting out of bed, especially this time of year. And I still sometimes I've woken up like an hour or 2 after my alarms went off back in bed because I've managed to turn it all off. And just the pull of the bed is back in.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Oh yeah, no, yeah. My somnambulism used to be much more intricate because like what I do, like when I
What was the word you just used there?
a somnambulism, I believe that's sleepwalking,
Oh,
which
wow.
which is what you've done. You know,
Oh, I
like
guess
really,
so.
because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are like because I used to I woke up one time and discovered that my my now ex-wife's multi-tool, right? So
Mhm.
like a a metal thing, her Leatherman with with all the the knives and stuff. I woke up and discovered it was in my mouth, right?
Oh.
Because what had happened is I had walked into the kitchen, I was hungry and thirsty, and it was the first thing that was cold. So I woke up and discovered, oh shit, and I would be remiss at this point not to go, oh, a leather man in my mouth, oh, lucky boy. But hello folks. They're chanting my name at the Junior Up Sports Club. Anyway, yeah, So it used to be a lot more elaborate. So
Okay.
like I can completely relate to you, going and finding and being quite technically dexterous and then back to sleep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you eat breakfast? I'm assuming if you're waking up at weird hours of the day, you got a regular breakfast, or
Well, yeah. I eat. It depends what I fixated on at that time. At the moment, it's a fair amount of porridge. I like that. I get up and you have about 30 grams of oats with some almond milk and maybe a bit of fruit or something, and you're all right. That fills you up.
I guess I haven't thought about doing porridge with milk outside of dairy milk, and I imagine doing it with almond milk gives it some of the flavor that you don't need to. Do you put toppings on as well?
Oh yeah, blueberries and a bit of honey, and I've got some 0-calorie maple syrup, which I tried one time, but it was remarkably like just sort of consuming a nest of chemicals with a slight whiff of maple in there. Perhaps an example of homeopathic medicine working. We brushed it with a single leaf. It's more effective.
Somebody just whispered the word maple in it.
Maple. Oh wow! I can taste
Canada.
I can taste the whisper. Oh, that might have been why I felt compelled the other day to wake up and listen to about an hour and a half of Canadian wrestler Bret Hart's interviews. There we are. A whisper went through me. Oh yeah. I tell you that. I mean, that's a good start to the day. You want to wake up and listen to interviews with people who aren't dead but act like they are. That's good shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, do you mean like not? Do you mean in mid-show interviews, like mid WWE, or do you mean
no? I mean
post WWE. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
What they used to call shoot interviews that are now just podcasts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoy like if there's nothing else on. Right in the house, and I don't want to be alone with my thoughts, or I don't think that a podcast when I'm sick of my phone, and I'm frequently sick of my phone, right? I quite like sticking on either dead celebrities talking in the bygone era when TV interview shows were kind of stately and long. So like Orson Welles is now bullshitting to Dick Cavett. This will not end. This will go for it. And after a while, they go, you didn't meet Hitler. Stop. That never happened. He's just got a deep voice and he's an actor. So stop, believing this bloated twerp. God.
Fascinating man.
Oh, yeah. Well, straight up. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. As all self-centered, vainglorious, talented cunts are. I mean, Orson Welles Orson Welles had a talk show. It didn't last particularly long because there's a man who's never asked a question in his life.
Right. Okay.
Like there's one where he's talking to Andy Kaufman. He makes great statements. He says that Andy Kaufman's incredible. I think this is great, but they're like, okay, so why? Orson Welles is a guest. He is one of life's great guests. He's not a host. I don't wish to spend a lot of time in the orbit of this man while I wait for my turn.
Right.
Yeah.
I have seen interviews of famous interviewers, and it gets very weird. It's kind of
very strange. Yeah, I quite like. I like listening to retired David Letterman. Retired David Letterman's a lot more enjoyable than active David Letterman.
Right, less constraints and stuff.
Oh yeah, well he's just grown a huge beard, and he's kind of lent into this idea that he's this sort of down home, simple countryman.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's a little bit like, oh, this isn't the man who bullied Paris Hilton until she cried. This is a nice old fellow, which is a condition a lot of modern celebrities come to when they're doing a podcast, but not so necessarily all old wrestlers. Like Brett, like these are guys who, like, when you see them being interviewed, they can't sit straight in the chair because, of course, their bodies are completely fucking battered. And if they're contracted to the WWE, their stories cease to be interesting because they're, highly corporatized.
Yeah.
But if they're not contracted to the WWE, you can really get some spice. And then you get the perpetually bitchy and miserable Bret Hart, who, like, this week, like, people are getting very excited because he decided to say that he was now completely convinced that Vince McMahon, who's, an alleged sex trafficker, the head of the WWE, he's like, he was completely convinced that Vince McMahon and the wrestler Shawn Michaels, who is at the time was a noted drug abuser and actual abuser of women, right? And is now a born-again Christian, as so many of them are.
What?
Oh, yeah, Shawn Michaels been a born-again Christian for about 20 years.
That's such an unheard of move.
No, I know. No one's ever done that. No one's ever done that. It was Conor McGregor. No one's ever done that. Russell Brand. No one's ever done that. You can't judge me. I've been bathed in the water of God. Yeah, okay. We actually can. Are you familiar with throw Christians to the lions, mate? Christians also die. Anywho, he just, in the last week, he decided to wheel out what's actually a bit of old Bret Hart material, but he just decided to say that Vince McMahon is a noted homophobe, and Shawn Michaels, perhaps based on doctrine alone. Actually, no, also, same. Maybe. Right. He decided to go, the only way Shawn got to be the champion was, of course, I think he and Vince were lovers. And and he said this, and the internet, as the internet does, has responded both in good faith and also because people also need to make money just responding to this. And I realized perhaps I've over the years paid sort of too much attention to this because they're like, oh, look at Brett, who's all bitchy and no one else has ever had a good wrestling match, and he's very articulate and funny, so it's kind of fun, and he never really gets het up, so it's interesting to hear this sort of dour, Canadian voice. And then I'm like, oh, he said that in his memoirs. I've got it over there. Oh, he's doing his old material. This isn't news. Oh, he's just an old bloke who's saying a terrible thing. Oh dear. Yeah.
He would go down well at the sports club.
Oh, he wouldn't, because he's one of them fake wrestlers. I don't like that. Oh no, not like Johnny the Reach Around Grumley. Oh, Norfolk's toughest boy, 5'7" he was, a giant. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yes, so thank you for telling me about your morning routine. Is there any other part of your morning routine you have?
I've left out, on a good day, I've left out how many times I ejaculate.
Sure.
Both alone and
a good day.
on a good day, yeah. No, that's about right. By about this point, it's the mid-afternoon, and we're ready to we're ready to start work.
People of the audience, please go absolutely crazy for David Hoare and 1,000% musical comedy!
I'm releasing my first YouTube special on Sunday the 14th of December at 5 p.m. Well, thank you for telling me about your morning routine. I also like to ask people about their expertise, and you are an expert in Star Wars. No, I nearly said Star Wars. That's awful. I'm so sorry, because I know I should do. No. And edit. You're an expert in Star Trek, specifically TNG. I know how much you don't. I'm so sorry.
No, that's hilarious.
How
That's
do
so
you
funny.
offend?
I
How
would
do you
have,
offend the
yes
man who will
ended
talk
you.
about anything? You like Star Wars?
Whoa! No. Oh, I mean, no.
You
Look,
like
I
Star
mean,
Wars?
Star Woo! Yes, that was an old wrestling event in Memphis
Yeah.
in the 1980s. Ric Flair was there, which is why it was called Star Woo! Anyway, there we go.
I was just bursting into the theme tune. Star Wars.
Woo, 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 woo. Yes. Yes.
Star Trek. Next
Star Trek.
Generation.
Yeah, I like Star Trek Next Generation. Yeah.
Please,
No,
for
very much.
people that don't know what it is, please explain what Star Trek: The Next Generation is to people.
Star Trek The Next Generation is the enjoyable sequel to the frankly hugely patchy Star Trek. It's a show about a nice and polite group of friends who wear pajamas, who, with a constant ASMR hum in the background, go and solve moral dilemmas. It is, for the most part, charming, and you can just put it on in the background. It is fantastic viewing.
I haven't actually had that qualified before in a way. I kind of did know that, but I'm assuming the original didn't have the hum all the time.
No. The original had a series of bleeps and bloops, which are incredibly annoying.
Sure.
Yeah, it was only when ASMR became a thing that I realized that a big part of why TNG is so relaxing is it's the sound of the warp drive. It's this
yeah.
And then
I
you
know
can
people that listen to that to read because it makes their brain like calmer and they can actually concentrate more.
Yeah, 10-hour loops of it to sleep. And some people have the warp drive of the Star Trek Voyager, which turns out to be at a different frequency, or the background of Deep Space Nine. But the when someone's like, oh, here's a 12-hour loop of the original Enterprise's background noise, it's like, yes, I was alive when people's mobile phones had to have ringtones. I remember what that was like. And this is that. Fucking agony. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, and TNG is a probably of the Star Trek shows, probably the one that's the most liked. I want to say, like, they like the original series is now. I mean, I don't think like new viewers wouldn't really watch it. They know who the characters are. There's a reason why Spock is in the new series. You know, they're constantly trying to go back to we're doing the original series again. Here's Kirk and here's Spock, but it's fun, because you actually have to do that, because otherwise it's 1960s science fiction, which is somewhere between a constant battle of aesthetics and budget, and episodes being written by people with huge ideas, and so that's why you have titles like For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky. Is there in truth no beauty? No.
That sounds very 60s sci-fi, like Philip K. Dick type thing.
Asking huge questions.
Yeah, of course.
Harlan Ellison wrote the City on the Edge of Forever, which is held up as being one of the best episodes of all, and was forever going on about how he felt his idea had been butchered. And then when because he's got a big supercomputer, or supercomputer god, same fucking thing, right? And if you jump through it, you go through time, right? So this gets rendered as a giant donut that lights up when it talks, right? And they jump back in time, and Captain Kirk beds a nice lady played by Joan Collins and saves her from being hit by a car. And as a result, Hitler wins the Second World War, right? So Captain Kirk has to let Edith Keeler die, right? So that this happens, right? So that's the episode. Right. Now, that to me sounds like an episode of a television science fiction program, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea what it was Harlan Ellison wanted to actually happen, but I've read exactly three other things that man's written, and I strongly suspect, and he's incredibly dead, but if he was alive, hugely litigious and very excitable. He seems to have had a colossal word output for a man who is permanently typing with one hand, if you feel me. As he felt himself, seems to be frantically masturbating, but somehow coming on the keys. Because The other things I've read are him being insanely angry about the state of television, a short story in which nothing. Oh, what's that one called? Repent ye, said the TikTok man. Which is about a time traveling Jack the Ripper, and of course, the really good one, which everyone likes, is I have no mouth and I must scream.
Oh, right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's So,
which is bleak.
Incredibly bleak, but is also just AI-based torture porn. Yeah. And so when you're there and I'm there like, big talking, all-powerful God computer rendering people as things. Oh, I see why you don't like the glowing donut. Oh, I can see. Oh, and you can't make the characters fuck each other. Oh, I see. Sure. Okie dokie. Yeah. Dang.
I do find it funny when people are like, I'd like my thing to be more mature. And then they're kind of implying that they kind of mean like a higher status. But what they actually mean is like, why can't they swear and have sex?
Yeah, exactly. Of course, that's what they mean. Like, like say one thing for the original series. It did occasionally try to make mature science fiction. It tried to make a thing where people were examining an idea, right?
Yeah.
Like, like they were forever just sort of going, and what would happen if a human being had more power than a normal human? What's that? It corrupts them. There's a bunch of episodes about that.
Right, yeah.
And then sometimes it just boils down to, like, the episode, The Apple, which is, the crew has beamed down to a garden paradise. This looks like the Garden of Eden, says one of them. That was just outside Moscow, says Chekhov, who is Russian. Get it? There's a bunch of orange painted tall Oompa Loompas, and they live in this nice paradise, but they're kept naive by this giant fucking robot god, which is in the shape of a snake. Oh, you reckon it's deceptive and not a god? Anyway, they choose it. That's what they're forever doing in the original series. They're forever meeting gods, discovering there's a scientific reason why the gods are there, and then blowing the shit out of them.
Right.
Good fun. Oh, sorry. Although that episode does. Oh, no. There's another episode which does finish with a very timely. I think they've gone and dealt with the Romans, and they're constantly going on about the sun god. And then at the end, Uhura goes, Captain, they're not talking about the god of the sun. They're talking about the Son of God. It's like, yeah, no, there were Christian Romans. That's a Matt. Yeah, great.
Was just like part of the reason I like Star Trek: The Next Generation is that it kind of started with the old writers from the original show, and the original series get rookie. And like, I think a lot of people know the rule with Star Trek: The Next Generation is once most of the crew get facial hair, it suddenly gets like a lot better.
Oh, it improves drastically.
And they take away those old writers. And Gene Roddenberry, who created Star Trek, was trying to make TNG something different, and they eventually had to like wheel him away and be like, we're going to let these people who are write it, and it becomes a lot better.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's more inherently watchable.
Yes, it does become a different show. It finally updates. Like the first two seasons of Star Trek: The Next Generation are a tough watch. Like I remember once being outraged because I was watching it with a friend, and the friend went, "Oh, so what's this, John? Like the 60s, right?" And I had to be like, "No, this is the mid 80s. Like, can't you fucking tell? What's wrong with you?" And then one day I watched it casually. I was like, No, it's been shot like it's the 60s. And that weird music they're playing, this is an 80s fucking reskin of the 60s. I can understand, oh well. It's a tough, rough watch, and a lot of repurposing of stuff from the original series. So like the first episodes, which I would never make anyone watch, like
I tried.
at all. Oh god, yeah. Encounter at Farpoint, the two-parter that launches it, is fucking dreadful. Except for the arrival of Q, who is just a godlike trickster being, right? Remarkably like the other godlike trickster beings they were always fucking running into on the specifically like the one Trelane, who they've now reconned it so that Trelane is Q's son, right?
Right. Okay.
Which is also in one of the Next Generation books, which is quite nice. But nevertheless, yeah, Q's the most interesting thing about it, right? Because he's John Delancey's a fantastic performer. He's actually written to be funny and is funny, which is incredibly rare for Star Trek. Like there's a lot of times it happens in I think it's the second series when they're trying to teach the character Data how to be funny, and you've got Whoopi Goldberg, you know, one of the most talented comedians of her, or really any generation, certainly of the next generation, right? And they bring out Joe Piscopo, who was a big deal at the time, right, to play a holodeck character, so a hologram called the Comic, right? And between the two of them, they're going to teach Data how to be funny. Yeah. And you're watching Whoopi Goldberg assure this android that what she is saying is amusing, when in fact it is complete crap. Joe Piscopo gets him to do a Jerry Lewis impression. And you're just there going, okay, so it's the 24th century and a comic from the 80s with a mullet from the 80s is currently dressed as a Vegas nightclub comic from the 50s doing an impression of a Jewish comic like from the 50s. And well, you're right. This isn't working. This isn't working for the audience watching it. Like, it's not fucking hell, you know, like it's out of date for the decade it's being made, let alone the century it's fucking set in. And there's Whoopi Goldberg doing this, like, because she has to explain the joke she's told. And the joke is this: because you're a droid and I'm annoyed. Guinan, why are you annoyed? No, Data, because you're a droid and I'm annoyed. Oh, humanoid, which I remember even as a kid, I was sitting there going, they don't fucking call them droids.
It's no wonder that it's a show that produced the most amount of facepalm memes.
Yes. Your entire premise is false. Yeah. And also, they were never calling humanoids noids. It wasn't a known bit of slang.
No, of course.
None of this works. Oh, it's so upsetting. But having said that, if you just jump past the first 2 years of Star Trek: The Next Generation, you jump in at season 3 and it really picks up.
Oh, it's so good.
Yes. Yeah,
I used to watch it. The beauty of being like the age I was in the late 90s and early noughties was you'd have the like kids TV shows on between like 3:30 and like 5:30, and then they'd have Neighbours. And then at 6 p.m, so that would be on BBC One, and then it would cut over to BBC Two, and you'd have either The Simpsons or The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or Robot Wars. But then after that, they would have like an entire episode of Star Trek.
Yeah.
And so like I was like, since the age of like 4 or 5, I had surgery when I was about 5, my first bit of surgery. And when I woke up, my mum kind of was like, from the anesthetic, my mum was nudging me, being like, Star Trek's on. And I have very clear memories of being like 5 and waking up and seeing Worf on telly and being like, wicked.
Yeah.
But so then I went and watched it again as an adult, and I did the thing because streaming was now a thing. I was like, I'll start at the beginning. Got like 4 episodes in. And I know people who are like 10, 15 years younger than me who've gone, well, I tried watching that Simpsons program. I started at season 1. It's not very good. And you have to be like, we didn't have it like that. It was just what was on.
Yes.
What was on and what was available. And you might get reruns, but there was like maybe 4 or 5 channels.
Yeah. You also very rarely saw season 1 Simpsons again.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Very rarely.
Yeah. You would see, they would play Lisa's Substitute every once in a while. And, but the general, I have some memory of that being, I remember watching it and I have some memory of that going away from the rotation pretty fast. Yeah. Because they were like, we can't actually encourage kids to all just gang up and beat the shit out of the bullies at school.
Get your grandfather to help you bully.
Yeah, it really is. Well, I mean, everyone was doing that. That was a big part of my boyhood. It could be, well, quite neatly summed up. There was this old TV show called Fast Forward, which was the sketch show in Australia in my boyhood. And they did a parody of the show Kung Fu. And one of the lines is, the other students do tease me, master. well, can't you beat the shit out of them? Right. which I remember my mum quoted that at me once. She was being very supportive. She told me originally to go get a teacher, but I realized she was just quoting the thing from the program. She was just joking.
Right.
But it was also quite practical advice, like I think my father sort of went, well, I mean, we paid for these karate lessons, like, well, why not? And worked out fine. I did.
Yeah,
I had a couple of days in early high school and in primary school that was sort of like days of vengeance, which were really a wonderful time, honestly. Like, as if you've had, if people have been sort of giving you an incredible amount of grief, and I wasn't in any way emotionally equipped to handle this, right?
Sure.
Like if every day you're being told that you're weird and wrong, and you're really the butt of every single joke. They didn't teach me this in karate, but as it turns out, it is entirely possible at the age of 10 to realize that if the person who's been doing this bends down to tie their shoelaces, you can just go and hit them in the stomach as hard as you fucking can, and they drop and get sent home. But also, because everyone knows that they're doing this to you, you don't get in any trouble. So that was good.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a nice day. And then I repeated the same thing later at my early high school. The next high school I went to had girls, so there was no need.
Right.
I
feel like potentially a new song title for your good self is,
oh yeah,
they don't actually teach this in karate.
They don't teach this in karate. They say, why not? They say that this is for
but they don't actually teach this in karate.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Why not? Why not? They say this is for self-defense. The best defense is a good offense. Consider this a deterrent. Shove it up your ass. Yeah.
John Robertson, everybody on the
John Robertson. Thanks, folks. Why not? Not a single one of those things. Well, no, one of them rhymed. It's all right. Not bad.
It's fine.
Got some minced rhymes. But yeah, no, Star Trek: The Next Generation. Wonderful thing. Also, this was this, like, just thinking of bullying at school. This was the thing that I discovered who it was possible to guilt a little bit and who it wasn't. So because. Okay, here we go. Now, people who've listened to me on a lot of podcasts and seen a lot of my work, right, know the sentence that is coming, right? Which, you could almost tick this off the box. It's like, all right, well, has he mentioned S&M yet? That'll happen, right? Yep. No, good. Here comes the father, right? Here we go. So my father killed himself when I was 10, right?
Right.
And off the back of that, I got into Star Trek. Because it was a thing we'd watched together. Right. Like the first bit of Star Trek I ever saw was Star Trek 5. But because my father was enjoying it and I was about 7 or 8, I thought it was good, when in fact it's actually a really shit movie, right? But my father, being an Anglican priest, I think really got something out of Spock piloting a Klingon bird of prey and shooting God in the face. I think there was something there that he was quite tickled by. Once again, the crew of the original series go off and meet God, but it's not really God, so they kill it, right? Anyway, so what would happen is I would constantly be going on about Star Trek, right? Constantly. Sure. You got to consider that on the social hierarchy, right, the kids who were playing Magic the Gathering were considered to be cooler than me and my mates who were playing the Star Trek customizable card game, right? and there's a thing that I've claimed that I did, but it was actually my mate Tom did, which was he went past a bunch of kids playing Magic and he just put his hand in the middle and went snap and then ran off, which, it's pretty good, really. It's a good joke. Good. Yeah, I've happily claimed that as my own for 20 years. So oh, really? I feel like I should have been doing that, but nevertheless, that's so
better by making it me.
Well, that's oh, great, And then I wrote "Blowing in the Wind." Anyway, so what happens is we're playing the Star Trek customizable card game, which you don't realize, of course, is just one, obviously a tool designed to make money, but is essentially just flashcards for Star Trek. So you now know more, who these people are, who's this background character. Ensign Raga, everybody. I had an Ensign Raga card. It was worth $5 US. on and on and on.
Wow.
No, you can't use the future Enterprise from the last episode, All Good Things, because you haven't activated the alternate universe portal, right? Things like this. Okay. You get it all going. And so,
Good
so
to be
I was,
stringent with rules.
yeah, so I was routinely bullied by, everybody at the second school I went to for various reasons. I mean, I didn't, let's put it this way. There was so much for them to work on. I didn't realize I was short until I was 38. Right. Okay. All right. It was just going on. So, between the sexuality, just everything. I was uncoordinated when we played sport. Nothing I liked was good. Right. But I remember kind of, there's a lot of Star Wars better than Star Trek, all of this, right? Which you realize is just the same argument, right?
Yeah.
But okay. Anyway, all of this goes on and on. And what I discovered was I went, yeah, well, my father killed himself and he liked Star Trek. So that's why I watch Star Trek. That's why I do it. All right. That only works on some people, right? So, some people aren't perhaps so interested in going on this emotional journey with you, right? I never once. I realized later. Because some people just go, "Oh, that's gay," and then hit you, right, or whatever, whatever they wanted to do. Most of them just wanted to intimidate you more than anything else. Very few people actually ever fucking swung, right?
Right.
But I realized later. I was like, no one ever took that opening, right? Because I know what I would have ended up saying, right? If someone was clearly trying to guilt me like that, right? I would have just gone, "Oh, your father used to watch Star Trek. I can see why he killed himself."
Oh no.
That would have been the line. And I realized, later, I was like, "Gee, I'm really lucky no one ever did that because I would not have been able to handle that at all because I was serious."
No, of course. Another day of vengeance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But by this point, unfortunately, puberty had hit and everyone was a bit bigger. It was a lot more difficult,
Fair.
Yeah.
Absolutely
On my day of vengeance at that school, it's quite notable that the two people that I took out my rage on, both noticeably, well, one smaller than me and one roughly my size. Yeah, that was good though. It was a very good day. Oh, yeah.
My dog's just suddenly perked up on the.
Are you excited for vengeance? Are you? Yes.
Like vengeance. You like vengeance?
Yeah.
Suddenly stuck her head up over my shoulder for audio.
That's right. If you're going to go and commit revenge, you should dig 2 graves, which is a useless aphorism because I do tend to be angry at groups of people.
She's apparently wants hugs now. So now
yes, she does want hugs. She wants to have hugs
Nala's
now.
going to join in.
Hello, Nala. Hello.
Nala, you're going to wave at John.
Hello. Oh, very good. Hello. Oh, like a little seal demonstrating its weapons. Apparently, that's what seals are doing when they wave.
Really?
Yeah, they're saying, "I've got this."
Wow.
Got a big claw. Got this. It's just the most adorable thing in the world, and it looks like they're inviting you over.
Yes, of course. Who's your favorite TNG character?
Probably Data. I really like Data. I think everyone likes Data. Actually, no. Wait. What am I fucking talking about? Oh, God. My brain auto-corrected to, well, he must mean a member of the regular crew. No. Q.
Well, right, okay. So Q, but Data's your favorite member of the regular crew, and then Q is your favorite character overall.
Yeah, as the, Data's great. It's Brent Spiner, the actor, really at his finest. He's doing an exemplary job.
It's so good. Because I think when I went back to rewatch it and started from the beginning, I was like, okay, this is okay. But I think with TNG, I think they're going to get accused of basically only having little different kind of forehead ridges.
Yeah.
And that can kind of make it a little bit, not as imaginative. But I think that was their attempt to kind of be a little bit more minimalist and convincing.
Yes.
And I really, for decades, bought the idea that Brent Spiner was a robot. And I think the skin paint and
the eyes,
the eyes, and obviously the way they do all the scalp flaps and stuff is so convincing. But he really does such a good job. And I think I used to be like, what a weird actor, and I'm like, no, incredible. He's absolutely nailed it.
Oh, he's superb. He's also probably, I mean, with the exception of Picard, he's the best written character. Like
Yeah.
he's definitely given the largest amount of meat. In order like, I mean, in terms of who gets what and how it's divvied out, Picard gets the most emotional journeys to go on. Why
Sure.
not? Followed by Data. Up next, oh dear, is probably Riker or Worf.
Sure.
Right? Then Deanna Troi, who would get
Mm.
some focus episodes noticeably later in the series. Ah, yes. And there, well, actually, no, sorry. Terribly sorry. I've completely forgotten Geordie LaForge because I don't like the character.
Oh,
But no,
really?
I don't like Geordie at all. I mean, Geordie is written sometimes to be a bit unlikable. Like his
Right. Okay.
his relationship with Dr. Leah Brahms, where he builds the holodeck version of her. That episode, I don't know. That episode's meant to be a critique of being a creep and of sort of putting someone on a pedestal and then being annoyed when they don't conform to
Yes,
your
of
exact
course.
ideas. But it's
Of
not
course.
as explicit. He's not held out to be such a figure of fun as the character Reginald Barclay is when he does the same thing. Like
Yeah,
when in an episode where Reginald Barclay makes holodeck duplicates of people, right? Everyone on the crew knows about it. Everyone makes fun of him for it. It's a thing. Whereas with Geordie, we get it all from his perspective.
yeah,
And it's
of
like,
course.
yeah, I'm like, this is just Data's mate. I'm not.
Yeah, I get you. I think outside of the creepy, those
Yeah.
creepy episodes, because he doesn't actually get loads of episodes, does he?
No, he doesn't.
And
He'd be below Riker and Worf, but definitely more than Troy, and certainly more than Dr. Crusher.
I think outside of those creep, like mid kind of run, like seasons 3, 4, 5, I think if you were in that realm, he would just be like a good person to hang out with. But as you say, he's probably not the best like character narratively.
No,
But
not at all.
in that sort of like, if I was on that ship, I would be hanging out with Georgie LaForge probably.
Yeah. Well, LeVar Burton apparently hated that episode. I want to make that point.
Sure.
Like, rather just so people don't sort of go, oh well, people must really endorse all this stuff. It's like, no, I think Gates McFadden, who I had the great pleasure of meeting when I was about 12, I think.
Right.
She did a convention in Sydney and I went and it was really good. She was lovely. She took a photo with all the children and I got to put my arm around her. Yeah, it was very nice. It's lovely. No photos of this exist as far as I know, but the holodiction thing, that's what it was called, and it was really good. She was great.
That's nice. There was a science, the Science Museum in London had a Star Trek exhibition.
Oh yes.
When I was about 6, and my mum took me, and at the age of 6, I'd never heard of or ever conceived of the idea of a Trekkie.
Yeah.
We arrived and there were people dressed up, and I'm like, oh, those are people that are part of the exhibit. No. And then they kind of gathered everyone around the bridge, like bit, and they went. The guy said, "I'm going to ask some questions." Like they kind of talked us through it all, and I said, "I'm now going to ask some questions. If you get it right, you get to come sit in the equivalent chair to do it." 6-year-old me being like, "Well, I've seen like a bunch of episodes of TNG," and then it's like, in episode 6 of season this of the original series, like very, very minute niche questions, and like woman's hand straight up, and she gets to go sit in the captain chair, and I'm like, oh,
well.
I should have put it on. I've still got my badge. I've still got my TNG badge from that exhibition. I also got Geordie LaForge plastic visor.
Oh, did you?
Which I thought was amazing, but I imagine that snapped. But it kind of had like weird sort of like cellophane, sort of like sort of thing.
Yeah. I've got a sort of fist-sized Klingon bat'leth.
Wow.
Yeah, which is the Klingon sword, but kind of done as a knuckle duster. Hang on. Oh, God, reaches just out of shot. And here is the Klingon mek'leth that I was sent by a fan. That's a Klingon short sword.
Thank God you haven't found yourself waking up with that in your mouth.
Yeah. Oh, God. It'll happen.
Committing some kind of Klingon ritual.
Yeah, well, if I start moving the camera around, there's a whole bunch of I'll reach for the one that's nearest. Here we go. Reaches up. I've got all of the Next Generation cast in duck form.
Oh my word!
There's
For the
Picard.
audio listeners, it's Captain Picard as a rubber
Yep.
duck with the outfit
There's
on.
my
with the
boy
hair.
Q in his Cubs outfit.
These are
Which
amazing. Definitely
Yeah.
worth having a little look at the
The video
on
just to
YouTube.
see. Yeah, the Worf one's pretty amazing. The Riker one's got a trombone, and there's your mate Geordie. There we are.
Very nice.
I don't know where Deanna is. She's normally around.
She's
hang on.
inexplicably not
Hang on.
present for this episode,
Oh,
so they
sorry.
can't read her mind.
Sorry.
So she can't read the
Yeah.
mind of the
Here's my bloody TNG uniform.
There we
That's
go.
just here out of shot. There's so much. Yeah. Look, hang
He
on.
really is an expert.
Hang on. There's my Captain John Darren Slayer mug with lovely. I adore.
John and I have mutual friends who
Yes.
are Scotchbox VR on on Twitch, and their house has a similar number of
Yes.
paraphernalia, which means when you walk in, you're like, oh,
Well,
this is all amazing, and then it just feels very comforting. I think just to be around it all.
We'll tell you what. Shall I go and fetch the nicest bit of Star Trek paraphernalia I own?
Sure.
All right, I will. Let me just say though, because I had the same experience you did at a convention where they're doing the trivia questions. The difference is I was twice your age and had realized that this community would perhaps be a community in which I was unlikely to be hit for knowing something. So what happened was they were doing this quiz. This was before Gates McFadden came out, and they had a whole bunch of Star Trek scratch cards, like lottery tickets. And at the time, though that particular promotion had the record in America for the highest unclaimed jackpot, because of course fans were buying them and not scratching them. Right?
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, and they went. I remember, the guy is like, and what was the name of Spock's teddy bear? And I've just gone, say that. Right, and I've never forgotten the guy went, he's older than he looks, folks. Right. I get the thing. And then I sat down and I remember specifically thinking to myself, I was like, well, actually, Spock's teddy bear's name is Ichaya, but that's in the animated series, and that's not considered canonical. But yes, Saylat's the name of the species. So I said the right thing. Good. Like, this is why this. Once you've had the extra thoughts about this after winning, you can come to understand why occasionally you were struck as a boy. But yeah, let me.
6-year-old me is very jealous.
Oh well, don't worry. And you know what as well. This was a big part of why this was roughly effective when I was at school. When in fights, right, and we're talking, like little, push part things, right? I never threw a punch when I was a boy, except obviously straight into somebody's gut that one time. But I was a big proponent of the Vulcan nerve pinch. And I would just sink my bloody hand into the bloody, and occasionally it was moderately effective. It was incredible. But and of course when it didn't work, it was exactly like when it didn't work in the show, and you're like, oh Christ, yes. Let me just tell you what. Should we pause for a second?
Yeah, that's always. I'll just put in an edit point here. That's fine.
Great.
WUWAH. There we go.
Marvelous.
I just looked this up, and it's just the Star Trek exhibition, which I didn't realize was a touring.
Yes,
exhibition.
It came to Sydney. I saw it.
Yeah. So, you were seeing the same thing. So, yeah, Science Museum, London, summer 1995. So I was 6.
Yeah,
so
it was at
very
it was
clearly.
at the Powerhouse Museum in Sydney.
Oh yeah, 1997. November.
Exhibition. Oh, 97. Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
That's what it says here, yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, now that we've really warmed to the theme of the episode, I will also just say it's going to be that rare thing for a podcast guest to do this to the host, but I hope you don't have something else to do, because now it's time to talk about Star Trek.
It was quite funny because I think the more kind of ADHD the guest, the more
the varying length we get, and I have had some of these come in at half an hour. But most of them are coming between 40 minutes and an hour. But it's quite funny to be like, well, it's going to go on slightly longer anyway. And then it was when we'd done half an hour and I'd asked you 2 questions about your morning, and I was like, and we've still got to talk about Star Trek.
That's right. Yeah, I feel like this might be one of those season finale 2-parters they used to have.
And now for the conclusion.
And now the conclusion. Last week on Star Trek: The Next Generation. Okay, so I've just gone off to my room and fetched up the 2 nicest Star Trek things I own.
Yeah.
And also one thing that's I was about to make some sort of appalling joke about, despite having these items, I still have sex in there. But at this particular point, we've gotten it. So this was given to me by my grandparents. This is my Star Trek pocket watch. With, it's a beautiful gold and silver thing. There's the original Enterprise in there. I need to replace the battery and things like that. It's got the schematics of the ship on the inside, and it's just wonderful, and a really nice. They're both now very dead, so it's really worth holding on to. And the other was given to me by a former partner, which is really nice. Which is this wonderful.
Whoa!
Yes, so that's an illustration of Captain Picard staring up at Q in either the first episode or the last episode of The Next Generation
on trial.
And John Delancey, who I'd also met at a convention, I have a signature of his, and I have his convention signature, which is just his initials.
Right.
This is his much prettier signature. Yeah. And the inscription reads, "John, you awake to find yourself in a courtroom."
No way.
Yep. That you can tell why that person is one of my very best friends in the world, because that is a fucking banger gift.
That's incredible.
Isn't it just? Isn't
That's
it?
amazing.
Bloody
oh my word. Wow.
Yeah.
This is it. I was going to say, I do really want to make too much of the point, but I guess it's like, you've obviously taken all that kind of outsider feeling, but obviously mixed with the Star Trek stuff, and then brought together a large community of people on the internet and around the place. And whenever I go to one of your shows, I always have a lovely time. But then if I'm a guest on one of your shows, say at Edinburgh Fringe, I will, or we have you at Chops in Bristol. Yeah. The next day at my show, there will be some people with either Star Trek or wrestling T-shirts on with blue hair who have been sent specifically from your lot, and they are the nicest, funnest people to have at my shows. And it's like, obviously you went through all of that terrible stuff, and it's like Star Trek kind of helped you out then, but it's like you've managed to help out a lot of people subsequently.
Well, thank you. I mean, those people are great. Like my audience is bloody tremendous. They have a reputation for being real nice. They really do. Like venues bloody love having my crowds in them because they're nice people. And also the other day I was in Exeter and I couldn't find the venue, and then I ran into 2 people, one of whom was wearing one of my shirts, and I went, "Fuck, do you know where it is?" And they went, "Yeah, come on. We'll take you there." So that's how nice they are. They're fucking showing the act,
turning into a lollipop lady.
Yeah, well, yes. But
oh my word.
Yeah,
amazing.
Star Trek: The Next Generation is it's still a really good program. I think part of it that makes it work is it's a criticism that Leonard Nimoy, who was Spock in the original series, leveled at Star Trek, the original one. He went the trouble with it, and why it didn't rate so well. Initially, he was like, you could leave the room and come back and still follow what was happening, right? He felt the show was a bit slow and a bit all of this, right? Because he later worked on Mission Impossible, and he went, you couldn't leave the room because you wouldn't know what was happening, right?
Sure.
But that's a completely different economy to how it is now. Like with streaming, right? Where the idea of binging, it's it's either sit there glued to it, figure it out. Like I've just been watching Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, which if you didn't watch the episode prior to it, you've got no idea what's going on, even though 90% of the dialogue is just the repetition of what just happened, right? Okay, it does help to see it. Whereas Next Generation, you can put on and languidly, right? But still with emotional points and still with excitement and still with, a gunfight or a ship battle or all of this and a guest star and all of this, right? As I say, some nice people solve a problem eventually, right?
Yes. And it's contained.
Yes. Some episodes can get real tense, right?
Yeah.
And some episodes aren't. But that's what makes it. Like a subpar Star Trek The Next Generation episode is pleasant company in the background while you do something else. A really good Star Trek The Next Generation episode hits you in the fucking jaw.
Yeah,
like
it catches you off guard. I think when I was doing my rewatch, maybe about 8 years ago, having not watched it for decades and just kind of seen bits here and there, and seeing the kind of very basic kind of Trekkie sort of opinion, I would start watching an episode and be like, oh, is this one going to be a silly one? And it start off very whimsical. And then by the end, they've explored so much like moral dilemma and so much exciting stuff has happened. And you've got really invested. I think of the episode after Best of Both Worlds, where Jean-Luc Picard goes back to the vineyard.
Oh, Family. Oh, my
Family,
God,
which starts off being like, Jean-Luc Picard's gone on holiday because he got turned into a robot and he's arguing with his brother. And at the end, he's like, they changed me. They took my son, and like that, and a lot of the episodes with Deanna Troy's mum, like the one where she brings her boyfriend on board, and it's like that starts off, and you're like, oh, this is going to be really annoying, and by the end, you're like, oh my word, it's like so, like
I know that's the one with David Ogden Steers when she falls in love with the big bearded guy who's going to die because he's over 50.
Yeah.
Oh, incredible. Yeah. Oh, there's some really fantastic, like Family as well. Like, because the show's designed to be mostly self-contained, when there is some change, it really stands out. Like, unlike like Babylon 5 a few years later would bring serialization, right to it.
Right.
But,
yeah.
The Next Generation has a feeling of the writing and the characters changing by necessity initially, and then in the story it changes a bit.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really notice the first 2 times I watched it, but I think it was the third time. Well, like just the other day, I thought, all right, I'm showing someone who's never seen Star Trek an episode. What am I going to do? And I put on hang on. Oh, yeah. I put on Parallels is what I put on, which is a season 7 episode. And I remembered the name because it used to be on the VHS, Parallels and the Pegasus, right? Both of which are good episodes. And Parallels is a Worf episode where he comes back. He's coming back. He's been at a Bat'leth tournament, which he won, but there's an anomaly, as there always is. There's a subspace anomaly. And he's shifting through different dimensions, right?
Right, yeah.
And what I didn't notice is that that's the episode where they set up him hooking up with Deanna Troy.
Yes.
And Deanna Troy and Riker had always been kind of love interests. They were ex-lovers at the start, and then colleagues who still flirt and all of this. And then you realize, no, wait a second. In season 7, she and Worf do end up getting together. That's the first shot of the final episode. Those two. And I'm like, oh, it is actually built up.
Yeah.
And it's built up in quite a nice, natural way. And little things like little Wesley Crusher goes to Starfleet Academy. Wesley Crusher comes back. Wesley Crusher becomes a galaxy-spanning Time Lord. These are things. And then some things are more self-contained, like the fact that there's an arc with Data and his brother Lore.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But when I say contained, I mean in the sense that you don't necessarily, it doesn't impact anything week to week, right?
No,
at all. Even to the point that when Lore's finally dealt with for the last time, you see that character every few years. So the next week you don't have to refer to it. No one's there going, Jesus Christ, Data's brother. Fuck.
Yeah.
And
Who is
also,
your brother, by the way? The kind of like terrible TV exposition conversations.
God, yeah. Well, also just to speak to that point, this is just a nitpicky Star Trek thing. right? The amount of times, like, because they do this with Spock as well, quite egregiously, but it's characters with relatives we've never heard of, right? Or forgetting that those other relatives exist at all. So, like, Data, the innocent android, has an evil brother called Law who is more sophisticated than him, but is a smiling psychopath. Cool, right? And he nearly blows up the ship. And he kills Data's father. And he goes and grabs a bunch of the Borg, who are the big enemies of Star Trek The Next Generation, and he remakes them in his image, and it's super fucking dangerous, right? We have this whole time with him. In the last Star Trek The Next Generation movie, they find another one of Data's brothers, and no one at any point goes, oh, shit!
This went wrong the last time.
Wait
Yeah.
a minute! You know? It's fucking aggravating.
I hadn't mentioned him until this time, which I believe was my friend's main complaint about Stargate.
Yeah.
Because they'd always do that in Stargate.
Yeah. Oh, also, speaking of beautiful episodes, the episode where Data has a daughter. Data's daughter, Lau.
I saw that the other day, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, who is also, when they made Star Trek Picard, completely forgotten about.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. People are going on and going, look, Data had a daughter. It's like, Data famously had a daughter. The episode's tremendous. Her name means beloved in Hindi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just completely...
So, for those of the people that don't know, if they're still kept with this much Star Trek, there's outside of Star Trek The Next Generation, there's been several films, and there's also been Star Trek Picard. And then characters have kind of come into different parts of, like, they might have appeared in other stuff. Like the last episode of Enterprise, which is very weird.
Famously and infamously, yes.
Yeah, but like Picard, the new show Picard is kind of in a similar vein to the modern Star Trek, which I don't like because it's first of all, it's very bright in terms of just like it's very darkly lit with like bright neon lights. It kind of hurts my eyes to look at. Too many lasers, very like swinging cameras, everything action shot, and it's not got the kind of calm patience of TNG. And I think sometimes, and with the films, and I think, oh, like they've wrote, you know, they haven't done it justice for what TNG could be. But then you have to remember that like it started rough and it gets a little bit rough at the end. And even TNG itself isn't a perfect show.
Oh.
It just becomes one of the best shows ever for a bit. Yes. And then kind of goes, oh, we've done quite well. We'll just take off the gas a little bit at the end. But
yeah.
Like,
it's interesting you say that. I love the end of The Next Generation.
As in like the last series, I feel takes for me.
Oh,
personally,
really? I like it. I really
okay, great. I would never ever push my opinion, but I think like from a like just around like the beginning of season 3, right the way through to the end of season 6, I think it's kind of very high standard, and I think series 7 has a few episodes like when they turn into reptiles and stuff, or a few things like that where you're like
Metamorphosis, I think.
Yeah, Deanna Troi turning into a frog in a jacuzzi.
Oh, that's very funny. That's when they're all
entertaining.
Yeah, they're all devolving. That's the one. Yeah, and
Barclay's
half spider for some reason. Yeah. I remember. Yeah. Nah,
turns out being neurodivergent, you evolved from spiders, apparently.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite TNG film?
Yeah. Well, I like the movies, but just like to speak to the movies and to speak to Picard, you can really tell like what the zeitgeist is. This for me is a thing that frustrates me occasionally about things I really enjoy, because television series and I'm now thinking very specifically of the Australian, it's popular in Australia, it's not actually Australian, the comic book The Phantom, right?
Right, yeah.
Shows with like a contained universe and characters that are well defined in their behaviors shouldn't throw everything up in the air just to engage with what's currently popular in the marketplace. Right. Because of course they are popular in the marketplace. Like Star Trek is a $1 billion franchise and has been for a small infinity of time, right? Yes. The Phantom remains the only comic book that you can pick up anywhere in Australia. You go to the newsagents and you can get it, right?
Really? I didn't
Oh
know
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, you can't get it. Like everywhere else, you'd go to a comic book shop, right? And there's a fair few of them around. Australia is really well served
Yeah.
for geek retail. But like what I'm specifically thinking of is this. So Star Trek Generations is a movie made to be that accusation that's so frequently leveled at films made out of TV series. This is a long episode of the show,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it is, but also really it's just an old Star Trek movie.
Yeah.
It's been edited like the original Star Trek 6 was, where the ending doesn't have to make a great deal of sense. They've just won. They've won. Isn't that good? Also, William Shatner as Captain Kirk isn't playing Captain Kirk in that film. He's playing William Shatner. Captain Kirk now has all of William Shatner's interests and behaves like William Shatner. And he was doing that in Star Trek 6 as well. That is not Captain Kirk at all.
That's funny.
Well, it's true. Like the character looks less and less like and doesn't talk like, like all of this.
Yeah, sure.
Right. Then you have First Contact. Now, First Contact is the first enjoyable and possibly the only enjoyable Star Trek The Next Generation film. But it is also a 90s science fiction movie, which means that it's just about guns and a few laughs.
Yeah.
Right? You can absolutely tell it came out around the time of Starship Troopers and the gritty reboot of Lost in Space, the fact the ship now has to be dark and all of this, right? But it's funny. Like at least there's that. When the crew beam down to 21st century Earth, and maybe 22nd century, it doesn't matter. Right. Look at me auto-correcting. It doesn't matter. That's what socialization does. For your undiagnosed neurodivergent children, I will point out I, of course, was never diagnosed as being neurodivergent because I was articulate, and if you questioned me, I'd hit you. Anyway, that's not true. I
wasn't diagnosed because I wasn't naughty.
Same. That was same. No, exactly why. Very, very good at understanding the rules of the game, right? Well, because we're at school now, and when we're in the classroom, we don't make noise. Fair enough. I can do that, right?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I could.
It's concentrating on not breaking the rules rather than actually learning. That's where I was at.
Yes. Oh, same. Yeah, very much.
Marvelous.
But
Sorry. Yeah.
Then what happens is, like, Star Trek Insurrection is an attempt to make First Contact again, but unfortunately, the actual story is a bit flat. The idea is a bit flat. And then Star Trek Nemesis is a cancerous carbuncle of a fucking film and killed the franchise for nearly 20 years. Also, I think Enterprise was still on around this time, but Enterprise had called itself Enterprise, not Star Trek Enterprise. They were trying to move away from it. And no wonder that one didn't work particularly well. Anyway, the trouble is this, like, Generations, you're watching it, it looks and feels like Star Trek The Next Generation for a while. Then it's just a different film. About two men trying to fight Malcolm McDowell. That's it, right? Captain Kirk's death isn't emotional. He just dies. It's not earned. It's not interesting, right? Picard doesn't really go on a big journey. Like the fact that he's processing the fact that his family have all burned to death, right? Off camera, right? That's not really gone into. It has no emotional weight. To literally say that Generations has no heart is completely correct, because there's a version of it in the longer version when Geordie LaForge is captured, right? Dr. Tolian Soren, played by Malcolm McDowell, has a device he can use to stop Geordie's heart beating, right? Which is why later in the film, when Geordie collapses during torture, he says his heart wasn't in it. Right? But this whole thing's taken out in the cinematic part. So you just get like his heart wasn't in it because the guy's, fainted. Like, okay, right. Then First Contact is good. Insurrection's a bit boring, which is fairly true to the spirit of Star Trek, to be honest. And then Nemesis is just a really joyless attempt to make an action movie.
Yeah,
Like, it was
as you
directed
say,
by,
it's when culture kind of is, as you say, throw everything up in the air.
yeah,
To try and be relevant. You made me think of Saint Anger by Metallica.
yeah,
Exactly, like they're the biggest band in the world. They take ages writing an album, and then they're like, right, all these new metal bands have appeared. Let's get rid of guitar solos. Let's make us sound dirty and horrible.
yep.
And it's just, you've just abandoned all your fans to chase this sort of thing.
Exactly. And like, like Nemesis is so fucking bad. Like, it is an atrocious movie.
Yeah.
To a degree that's not really discussed, because of course it was a very, very long time ago. But when it begins, like, okay, they used to do this. They would try to find a way to have it still be part of the continuity of Star Trek. So this is me I'm going to start with like a little thing that changes, and then we're going to get to a big thing. Okay. So in First Contact, Worf in the story, he lives on Deep Space Nine. He's actually a cast member in a different show.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So to get Worf into the movie, there's the Borg attacking in their giant cube. So in comes Worf in the ship from Deep Space Nine. Now, bearing in mind, this fight is happening near Earth. So how they've gotten there that quickly, who the fuck knows, right? But it's a fantastic way to go, shit, Worf's here. The big Klingon hard ass is here. Fuck yeah. The whole team's reunited. The next time, right? The next time when it's a diplomatic event, right? Picard just turns and goes, Mr. Worf, what the hell are you doing here?
Yeah.
Right? Which, for a start, I mean, I think what he means is, what the devil are you doing here? You know, to suggest joy rather than, why the fuck are you here, Worf? Right? Is what I heard what I read that as a boy. I was like, oh, it's angry Picard from season 1 is back. Oh,
yeah.
Right. The next time, of course, it's Riker and Troy's wedding, so they don't bother saying why anyone's there. Everyone's just there for the fucking wedding. Right.
Yeah.
But I remember the first time I watched it as a kid going, that now we don't have to say people are from somewhere else. It's just accepted they're all there. And it's only as we're talking now, I'm like, no, that's actually fine. They're all at a wedding. That's why they're all there. That actually makes complete sense. Oh. My God. I found the one positive thing in the movie.
Well done.
Well,
you should be proud of yourself.
Thank you. Well, yeah, look, in Star Trek Nemesis, this isn't a needle in a haystack situation. You found a needle. It's got, AIDS-infected blood on it. Sure. You found it, but are you happy? Lo and behold, right? Lo and behold. So Nemesis goes on, and you've got Captain Picard, who's famed as a Renaissance man. He loves to ride horses, all of this. Loves a dirt buggy. Loves a dune buggy. My mother led a round of applause in the movie when they started the dune buggy sequence, just so something would fucking happen, right? In this tiresome movie. Tom Hardy is, evil, young Picard, bad. He then psychically rapes Deanna Troi.
Yeah.
A thing that had been done earlier in the series in the episode Man of the People. It's Man of the People, right? Mm-hmm. Which is incredibly upsetting. And in this is just done so he's a bit bad. Like, she is fucking violated and traumatized, and no time is given to this. Also, Dr. Crusher vanishes, just is gone from the film. She has nothing to do in the movie, so just isn't in the second half. Right. So, you've got the two female leads. One is sexually assaulted in the movie and then is never really given anything to do. And the other's just been given nothing to fucking do at all. There's no emotional weight. It just boils down once again to, and now Picard is fighting one-on-one this character, which had already happened in the previous film and wasn't a thing that ever used to happen in the series. And so it's just a group of aging actors playing badly written versions of the characters they used to play. In Brent Spiner's case, 2 badly written characters.
Yeah.
Because you've got Data and B4, his simple brother, who, you know, don't worry about the evil one we've seen a million times, who could actually be something, you know, an actual antagonist.
Yeah.
We have this instead. And then, of course, they just kill Data, and it's stupid.
Mm.
You know, they like,
It's really, really stupid.
yeah, they well, because it doesn't.
But also, like,
yes,
people who don't like Star Trek won't watch it. But
Yeah.
the people who like Star Trek will be watching it being like, this isn't for us.
yeah. Well, yeah. Why am I watching a thing that has the name of the thing I like, right? Features the characters I like,
Yeah.
but they're in a different film. They're in a different universe.
Yeah.
And now we're just doing beats from older Star Trek films because the
Yeah.
ships get fucked up, which is what happens in Star Trek 2, right? And then Data dies and his memories are implanted somewhere else, which is what Spock does in Star Trek 2. And it's this weird sense, it's this odd stolen valor of
Yeah.
we're doing it, we're doing the thing you like, hey? Hey? It'd be like, okay, it'd be like Christians and the crucifixion, right?
Yeah.
There isn't a new faith based on someone who's a bit like Jesus dying in a similar way, you know, and people going, "Oh, I love Christ, the next generation." You know? you see what he's doing.
Really on the nose.
Chops Comedy every Tuesday in Bristol. We have an amazing secret headliner and the best local acts every Tuesday at Bar 57 in Bedminster. Previous acts include Mike Wozniak, Fern Brady, Nish Kumar, Harriet Kemsley, Rosie Jones, Jade Adams, Sally Ray B, Ed Campbell, Spencer Jones, Chloe Radcliffe, Tom Rosenthal, Scott Bennett, Finn Taylor and Helen Bauer. The first 20 tickets are only £4 and the rest are only £7. It's an absolute bargain. Tickets via Head First. Come to Chops Comedy every Tuesday at Bar 57 in Bedminster.
Well,
Yeah.
John,
Yeah,
not
mate.
only do I like to ask people, yeah, mate. Not only do I like to ask people about their expertise, but I also like to quiz people on their expertise.
Oh,
So now
goody.
Five questions for
I
you.
look forward to getting none of these right. That happened on another podcast. Aaron Chen got everything correct. I had nothing. Yes.
Okay. Well, he's not here, so you can take all the glory.
Also, I will just say that in the best possible experience of two people who clearly really like Star Trek: The Next Generation and Star Trek in general talking, 90% of this has been complaining. That's about right. Yes.
For sure. Question number 1. How many episodes of TNG are there?
Oh, Christ. 7 seasons, 24. Oh, jeez.
He's doing maths.
Is it about 200 and something?
It's 178.
God damn. Oh, well. Bugger.
Oh.
Yes.
Question number 2. How many times did the saucer separate?
Oh, okie dokie. Oh, yeah. We're going to head down the battle bridge and see an officer who isn't O'Brien yet, but it's Colin Meaney.
Yeah.
Right. So the saucer separates in Encounter at Farpoint. They later separate the saucer when they're doing the Picard maneuver against that Ferengi ship. So that's twice, right? The saucer separates in Generations. Rightio. Ooh, I want to say that there's about 2 more times. I want to say 5.
There's 3 in the TV show and 1 in the movie. I really
Damn
thought you
it!
were about to get that right
So
there.
close, so close.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, what? Yes. Yeah. That's it. Yeah,
I
because
thought we were about to see real expertise. At
Well,
play, and
there's
we
a couple
just
when-
we went, and probably some others.
well, yes.
Question number 3: Why is Data called Data and not Data?
Because that is not his name.
Correct, but you know
And-
why?
Well, as is covered with Dr. Catherine Pulaski,
Mm.
right? When she continually says Data, it is not his name. His name is not Data. His name is Data.
Yes.
But that's all the explanation I can think of.
Oh, okay. So because I was going to say Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart would pronounce it Data.
Data.
rather than
Oh, Data. Right.
And there was a rule. I don't know if it was on TNG or All Star Trek, where the person who pronounced it first dictated the pronunciation, which is why he is Data. So Patrick Stewart came in, said Data, and then they went with that, and then obviously all the rest of the crew were mostly like, Americans trying to go data, and that they're being told no, which is why.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Fascinating. That's wonderful. Oh, I'd never heard that. That's so cool. Mr.
Okay.
Mr. Data. Yes.
It gives it more gravitas, I think, but that might just be
Yes.
because I am English.
No, that's all right. Hang on. Let me just find something for you on YouTube. A very, very odd thing. It must be around. Hang on. Here we go. Here we are. Duke Nukem.
Nothing could come from Duke Nukem.
No, so somewhere. Oh, okay. Somewhere around the place is John St. John, who was the original Duke Nukem. I think it's still Duke Nukem. And there's one where he's just doing a parody of Picard, right? Yeah, it's on one of the later missions in Duke Nukem 3D. But in the outtakes, I still remember. It's Mr. Data, suck my cock. That was it. I remember. Yeah, that's the punchline. That's the end of it. But that when no one's really talking like that, especially when you're one of the kids who just like Star Trek, you don't really, no one's really saying rude words. It was incredible. Oh yeah, that's it. Something. Yes. Make it so. No, Mr. LaForge engage. Mr. Data, suck my cock. Yeah. Hours of puerile merriment.
That is peak 14-year-old humor.
Was it ever?
That would have done numbers on Newgrounds.
Yeah.
Question number 4: true or false? Q eventually got a job at MI6.
False. Stop it. Naughty. No, Q eventually tried to disrupt the space program, as happened in season 2 of Star Trek Picard. Yes. Also, just while we're here, just to speak to Star Trek Picard really fast. Star Trek Picard is 3 different shows. Season 1 is what if things were a bit bleak and sad, and we haven't really thought this out, and you can tell we haven't thought it out because the Romulans are here. If the Romulans are around, chances are things are going to get flat really fast. They've never been as interesting as the Klingons. There are some good Romulan episodes. That isn't one of them.
They've got amazing suits.
Yes,
like shiny suits.
Big shoulder pads. Season 2 is an incredibly long Q episode. Some of it is really good. You will, by this point, have encountered the limits of what Brent Spiner's characterizations can do. I hate to say this, he's a monstrously talented actor, but we don't need to. Season 3 makes a comment about that when someone says, "Was Law always so arch?" Yes. Also, season 1 of Picard kills Data again, just to see if they can make you cry, which it did. But even as I was crying, I was like, "You haven't earned this. This is the music doing this. You haven't earned this."
You haven't earned the tears on my face.
And then season 3 is Star Trek: The Next Generation. And is the show that people had wanted for many, many years. That doesn't mean that it's good or consistent, but if you go to it with a full head of steam and a bit of enthusiasm, and you're a bit excited to see everyone again, and all the characters are behaving roughly the way that they should be, and you accept that some very large things are going to be solved very quickly, and that some characters aren't there that often because the actors have suffered intense personal tragedy. This is Marina Sirtis, whose husband had sadly died at that point. You'll see that Dr. Crusher is finally given some shit to do to really make up for her absence. She's fucking fantastic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then in the finale, like, you really have to have sort of been watching and invested, right? Because on a rewatch, you go, "Oh, fuck off. Like, this is nothing," right?
I think that's how I felt watching it.
Yeah, of season 3 of Picard.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, fair enough. I think I was happy because I was just like, look, they're being given our last hurrah, but at least this time you might conceivably want to make that noise. Like something is happening.
Yeah.
And
I think I went. You said you went in with joy. I went in with cynicism. Because I did not enjoy Picard already,
right.
And I'd really just like gone no, and I've really been excited about it because I like TNG that much. So when it didn't hit the notes again, and I'm like, never mind.
No, I understand.
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, don't be sorry. I was at the I managed to sneak into the UK premiere of Picard, and like that whole thing, like it was like there were people behind me who were dressed as Riker and Troy at their wedding, right?
Wow.
And we all got these little. I don't know where it is actually. I've got my Picard pin badge of like the Picard communicator. I've managed to pick up a few of them because there were a few empty seats and we all got one, right? So that was fun. But I've never forgotten it was an oddly airless affair because the cast were all there. We all figured out really quickly that the bloke who plays Hugh, the super nice Borg, right? He seemed, let's just say he seemed a little tired. Yeah, well, you got to love the fans. He really didn't impress the people I was sitting with. And Patrick Stewart got up, and I get the feeling that Patrick Stewart on an off day might not be super enjoyable. And right, because he got up and he goes, "Oh yes, here we are. Can't remember the last time I was in this theater for Star Trek." And like as one, this room is leant forward because we're like, "Oh fuck, has he just blanked on the words of the next generation?" Oh god, he goes, Generations. It was the Generations premiere. I was like, "Oh, thank fuck, he was looking for something specific." Right. Good. Bearing in mind, he'd already won the evening. He and Ian McKellen had kissed on the white carpet outside. So he'd done this, but he just did this. This was his, the big return of Captain Picard. He goes, "No, we were meant to show you 2 episodes of this, but there's only one ready. Here it is." Right. And we all watched it. And when it was done, we all went, "Oh yeah. No, that was episode 1 of a Star Trek series. They're never that good. And it's happened again." All right.
True to form. Hooray.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay. Yes. So what's your trivia question, friend?
So your final question, true or false? Councillor Troy's mum is a pervert.
True. I mean, very, very true. Luoxana Troy would have been the first sexually confident woman north of 50 that I'd ever seen on television who wasn't in the Golden Girls. And she's a fucking telepath and it's a nightmare. Yes. And then you figure out later, it's like, she's Nurse Christine Chapel and she's number 1 in the original Star Trek pilot. That's Gene Roddenberry's girlfriend turned wife. Yeah.
Is it?
Yes, it is. That's why.
I didn't know that.
It's not. That's unfair to say. That's why she's there. But when the creator of the franchise's wife keeps turning up and is also the voice of the computer,
yeah, sure.
She's very talented. But yeah. There you go.
He is the voice of the computer. Oh, wow.
Majel Barrett, everybody.
Amazing.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, John, thank you so much for telling me about your morning routine and your expertise. Where can we find you online?
You can find me at thejohnrobertson.com. You can find me at Robotron on Twitch, ROBBOTRON, Mr_Dark_Room at Instagram, Robotron Twitch on TikTok. There we go.
And do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Oh, sure. I mean, if anyone wants to go and buy a copy of my book, The Little Town of Maraville, that's always enjoyable. The Dark Room will be back out on tour in 2026. We'll be going to various countries. We'll hit the US again, which is very nice. We'll be all around the UK, probably do something in Australia. So yeah, keep your eye out for that. And yes, there'll just be all manner of stuff. If I go live on Twitch, there I am.
For sure. And my final question I ask all my guests is, can you give me a title for a song that I will write subsequently and edit in after this?
Certainly. Call it Faith of the Arse.
Faith of the Arse. Thank
you.
There
we go, folks. Yes, that's the theme song to Enterprise. And I figured that most of this had been below the belt, and that was the thing that sounded most like Heart. So there we go. Faith of the Arse.
Marvelous. Wow. John Robertson, thank you so much for waking up with a whore.
No, an absolute pleasure to be with you. I'll get out of bed now.
I have only seen 2 episodes of Enterprise, and I thought they were both pretty crap.
Thank you to the wonderful John Robertson. You can find him on Instagram at Mr_Dark_Room. Go check out his Twitch channel. Go see the Dark Room live. It is amazing. The way this works is I do a guest episode on Monday, and then ADHD permitting, I will do mini morning encouragements throughout the rest of the week. I hope today that you eat 3 meals. I hope that you drink some water. I hope you stretch. I hope you give yourself a thumbs up in the mirror. Consider the axolotl. celebrate your small wins, and eat as many biscuits as you would like to. My name is David Hoare, and thank you for waking up with a Hoare.
Try and have an adequate day. Meet your basic needs and don't be a dick.